What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the 1894. I'm Dara. I have Joe me here today, and we're in it now. We're in the long haul of the season. It's Madrid, our first game against Madrid in the next couple of weeks. Joe, how are you feeling going into
it? Well, we've just come off of Burnley, haven't we? 2-0, easy as you like. A few players on the bench, rested for this 2 weeks that we've got coming up. Season defining, it really is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are on track for a treble. By this time in the next couple of weeks, we could end up with nothing. So we've really got to kick into gear now. Hopefully we'll come back with a lead. I really want the game to be done after this first leg. I know it's the quarterfinals, and that is highly unlikely, given how Atletico Madrid are going to set up. They are going to set up defensively, so the tie won't be over. I can't imagine it being, anything more than 3 goals, very, very maximum at the end of this game. But it's the home leg first. Not ideal. I'd quite like to be playing home second. That's just me anyway. But again, look, this is a test. This is a real test because short turnaround from the Burnley game and then followed by Liverpool and then Atletico Madrid again. Those 3 games, I think I'm kind of discounting the FA Cup here because it's a semi-final and it is genuinely just the least important out of the 4. But, these next 3 games are crucial.
Yeah, exactly. I was the same as you. I was kind of hoping we get the home leg second, but we give what we're getting, and we took a little look. Obviously, we watched the United and Atletico game. We know how they set up. They set up in a very, very defensive formation. We're going to have to be able to break them down. And I think when you see the team, could be in for a shock, but we're in for a team that we think are going to break it down. We'll wait until the actual section, but they play with 5. They play with basically a holding midfielder as a right back, Marcos Llorente, which is very strange. I think he played there for Spain during the Euros as well. A back 3 of Jimenez. I think it's Reynildo, wasn't it, Joe? Correct me if I'm wrong, and Stefan Savic. But I think Joe told me there just before Jimenez could be gone off injured. And then obviously Renan Lodi at the back. It's a very, very horrible line to try to break down. I'm nervous about it. I'm not even going to lie. I'm very, very nervous about trying to break it down because obviously, again, I know it's United, but they had a lot of struggle They had a big struggle breaking it down. What do you think, though? What do you think is the best strategy of breaking this down?
Patience. None of this hoofing crosses or long balls when 60th minute 0-0 you're panicking. None of that. We have to be patient. This is 1 game out of 2. This is not 90 minutes of football. It's 180 minutes of football. There is plenty of time to break this team down and get a goal. If you're solid enough defensively, which the stats tell you that we are, we'll be fine as long as we stick to our game plan and don't rush anything. Obviously, Ronaldo didn't score against Atletico Madrid, which he very often does. So, they're doing well defensively. Obviously, they're not as good as they were in previous years. A couple of years ago, they were a rock. It was almost impossible to score against them. But United managed it once in their place, albeit a little bit lucky, but they still managed to score against them. So we're much better than Man United, so we should realistically be looking at that the same and going, put a couple past them here, and have a bit of a comfortable lead, possibly. Going forward, I think we need to watch out for João Felix. I was looking last night on Twitter, and I think one of the City journalists, Sam Lee, was retweeting stuff about a Spanish correspondent who was covering the Madrid game, and Jimenez, I think, picked up an injury. He got taken off anyway. I don't know whether that's precaution for this game, and João Felix is on really good form because he scored against United in that first leg, and if he does the same things that Harry Kane was doing to us when we played Spurs, which is drop deep into the hole, then we're going to have a problem with really picking him up, and that's something that we need to address. I hope that they've learned from that Spurs game and that doesn't happen again, and we have a plan for when that happens. But we know that Madrid, especially in this first leg, because they're away, they are more than happy to sit there. They'd be happy with a 0-0. So the onus is really on us.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to take the game by the scruff of the neck and just have to go in straight away. I mean, it's definitely a chance for Mahrez, who's been on his goal scoring form, Sterling, who's fantastic. I think you gave him man the match for the Burnley match. They have to play. Like, these players that are on form have to play. None of this. I love Grealish. None of this cocking about putting him. He's not fitting this. He's not on form. He can play just for this game. He can play. You need. I think, again, if it was ideal world, you'd be doing what you can to maybe move De Bruyne forward. But We need Bernardo in there. We need De Bruyne, who looked really good against Burnley as well. We need him to be in there operating at his capacity, and again, not whipping balls in. But that goes for everyone. That goes for Cancelo and Bernardo as well. But I think now is a perfect time just going to the predicted 11 straight away. You'll see it come up on the screen now, and you'll see there's no Zinchenko, and maybe you'll be a bit shocked, but there's method to the madness, right? There's method to the madness here. So, right, so obviously it's Edison first. No Kyle Walker, suspended. Simple as he's an idiot. What can you do? So it'll be Cancelo, Walker, Laporte, and Nathan Ake. Now, the reason we're doing this is because, again, the way we set up when we have Kyle Walker there, who's typically a more defensively sound fullback, is the fact that you can kind of have Cancelo just doing what he wants. You can have Cancelo just, I think, mad joke, just vibing, just chilling around there in that little area. And I think for that being said, he'd basically be deployed as a midfielder with player back three. I think that's the best way to do it. I know Zinchenko was good. I know I really, really, really rate Zinchenko, but I think for the solidity, I think you have to have Ake in there in that little position. He probably won't go with it, but it's just a pure guess, Joe.
It is complete guesswork at this point because of the annoying thing of Walker is still suspended for this game. This is his last game, which he's suspended for. I'll be fine for the second leg and going onwards. Well, hopefully going onwards, as long as he doesn't have another mental lapse. But look, what can you do? That's in the past. We move on. We've gone through one whole round without him, and we'll be fine for one more game, pretty sure. And it's only an added bonus that, be completely fresh for Liverpool. Like, he'll have no midweek football, so that's good. But that's looking forward. I think there's multiple ways that Pep can approach this. I think Ake, given the fact that he played against Burnley and he has just played more recently, I think he got off the bench against Southampton pre-international break. So I think he's almost, I wouldn't say nailed on, but I wouldn't be surprised at all because Zinchenko's the natural left-back backup, but he just hasn't seemed to have had much football recently for whatever reason. We don't know why. I mean, again, I'm not too fussed about it because we've been winning for the most part, so it doesn't really concern me, but I think that the game that I remember us deploying in this sort of way with our back four with an extra centre half in there, non-forcefully was Brentford. Brentford player 5, they were looking for set pieces all the time. You could imagine that Madrid would be doing the same, looking for set pieces with the back 3 that they have, having some tall players. So an extra centre half is only going to help, and obviously when you've got no Walker, someone else has got to fit in there and move Cancelo back over to his natural right side, and you've got a bit of balance there. Obviously, it hinges on how fit Stones is. He was on the bench, so I imagine he's fit in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if you see Nathan Ake.
Yeah, it's again, it comes down to if you're going to be centre half, if Stones is in there, then it's either going to be left back or nowhere for Nathan Ake. And that's unfortunate because I think if he does go as Zinchenko and Stones is fit, then I think Ake will be not unjustly missing out, but he'd be missing out after having a really, really good performance. Then going to midfield has to be straight away. Rodri, he's fantastic. I think there's enough said about him already. You can talk about him if you want. De Bruyne and Bernardo, we've given De Bruyne a stick for ages, but you need someone who can unlock a door with the key of his right foot in De Bruyne for this kind of game. You need someone who can break the lines properly, like as in can spot a man from 40 yards. I know we have Foden in there as well, but having De Bruyne there is going to be crucial if he hits even decent heights. Even if he plays a 7 out of 10, you're getting something from him, which is great. That's a huge positive for De Bruyne, and the fact that you can look at him and say, even if he drops a mid-game, he's still coming out and maybe getting an assist and creating a good few chances. That's all we want from him. You know what I mean? If they don't convert it, that's not his fault. We just want him creating chances. We don't want him spraying 60-yard passes into the box when he's getting frustrated. Fucking ridiculous. But having him in there is crucial. And then obviously Bernardo beside it, it's going to be one of Bernardo's more grueling nights. I'm not going to say if he starts, because he will start. It'll be one of his more grueling nights because as pragmatic as they are, their energy is ridiculous, especially when they have Correa and Felix dropping into the midfield as well when they're defending in their block. You're going to need someone with the energy to just keep up with them, basically, because I mean, you look at in our sense of the Champions League final, Kante was able to pick up everybody, especially with an extra midfielder or 2 dropping in. That's what Bernardo's going to, I know Rodri's there, but Bernardo's going to have to do a majority of that work, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to have to work his socks off for this game, the next game, probably the game after that, and maybe even the game after that. He's literally got 4 games where he's going to have to, and I know he's got the incredible record of like 15 kilometers running a match, but he's going to have to do that almost 4 times back to back to back to back, like non-stop. I don't know why he got on the pitch against Burnley. I don't know why he was brought on. That was puzzling. I know it was to bring De Bruyne off, who might have picked up a little shoulder injury or something. He was holding it at one point, and obviously give him a little bit of rest because, you know, when he's on form, you need him. But I was puzzled to see him come on, and again, it doesn't really affect me. He only got like 30 minutes or something, so it shouldn't be too catastrophic. But I mean, yeah, their fitness Atletico Madrid is absolutely ridiculous. They sit back and they break with pace, and then when they lose the ball, and if we try to counter, they have 10 men running back as fast as they can to get back into position. It is ridiculous how well organised and well drilled they are at times, and you know, I imagine they'll be clued in for this game. I know, again, like I've said, they haven't been as good as they have in previous years, but again, this is a Champions League quarter-final. That goes out the window. They will try as hard as they can. They will run as hard as they can. And Bernardo's going to have to try and match that. And this is a game where I look at Gundogan. I love him to bits. And would I have him over De Bruyne? I still think the midfield is more balanced, but he doesn't bring that energy. De Bruyne at least has legs about him. He can move across the pitch. He's been a bit slow recently, but he still has the overall energy. And you know, he's coming off that good game against Burnley, and I hope he can keep it up because I don't want to have to keep giving him stick because it's really frustrating at this point. And, you know, last time he had a good game for me, you know, Chelsea, that 1-0, he won us the game, kept it simple, and then he went and, you know, had a poor game after that. I can't remember which one it was. I tried to blank him from memory, to be honest, but I'm hoping he's finally realised, you know, what he should stick to in this team, what the team's strengths are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dead on. I mean, it does get really, really frustrating having to criticise him every week because we do love him. We love him. We want him playing his best football, and it's what's going to happen eventually. I mean, I think you can only keep him down for so long. He's nowhere near finished. He's going to have to come up eventually. And you saw with the Gundogan goal, I know he didn't really create it. It was more so Sterling, but we know those kind of goals we can score where there's someone waiting in and around that penalty spot where we can just tap it in. It goes like clockwork. We've seen it so many times. There's a goal again. There was an identical goal to that against Southampton last season. That is our best way of scoring. I think that's just the best way of playing it, and that's why we've gone for on the wing. Sterling and Mahrez, 2 people who can do that. We saw Mahrez do it against PSG a couple of times. We've seen Sterling countless times before. I've seen him miss a few as well, but it's all right. He is there all the time. He's a poacher. Mahrez is also a poacher. You're going to need it for those second chance goals. You know what I mean? You're going to need it for when All Black Palms out, for when eventually we hit one of the 19 defenders that are sat in the line. Someone's going to have to be there to try and bury it. And again, Foden, it's very simple, really. It's the same plan of attack as what we thought of when we played in Champions League final, when you were to drop that extra midfielder in to combat what is a very, I don't want to say negative, a very pragmatic way of football. They're going to need an extra midfielder in there. We're not going to play with a striker anyway. I mean, that's pretty common knowledge. He's not going to pull Liam Delap out the under-23 shed. He's going to have Foden in there. Or Grealish, probably going to look at it maybe, but I think Foden has to be one there. It's pretty simple, the front three, really, isn't it? It speaks for itself, Joe.
It speaks for itself, and there's multiple things that you have to look at here. Mahrez will most likely be running at 2 left backs, essentially. On his side, so he's going to be doubled up. Undoubtedly, he's going to be doubled up. So Cancelo really needs to get in there and, you know, provide an overlap, and you'll have De Bruyne in that space as well, providing a little bit of support. You've almost got to crowd that area just so if they do double up on Mahrez, they've got to commit so heavy to one side that it leaves spaces for other players. I think my issue with Foden playing through the middle as well, as opposed to when I've seen Grealish, there is that Foden keeps playing on the last man for some reason. I don't know if Pep's telling him to play like that. I don't know whether he's taking it upon himself to play like that, but he needs to stop. He needs to drop deep into midfield when he plays up there. That's been the argument for playing De Bruyne up there, because Gundogan scored against Burnley. That's it. That is the most Gundogan goal you will ever see in your entire life. A late arrival into the box, and he's there just to poke it home, essentially. That's what he does. He will get you a goal from, well, he gets a chance. He will probably take it. He's just that guy, but, you know, he doesn't get in this team, and I don't think he will, and I think almost rightly so, because other players have been, on a bit better form of recent. And look, Foden's got to really, really help out that midfield because again, we mentioned the energy. He's got energy himself, but he's going to have to help the players around him. He can't play on the last man of a low block. It's just not going to work. And then Sterling, obviously, on the back of 2 assists at the weekend, obviously playing on his, I wouldn't say favourable right, but people seem to favour him on the right. Personally, I'm a left wing Sterling enjoyer. Personally, myself, I like that. But yeah, he's gonna. If we do line up with Ake at left back, he's not going to be isolated, but Bernardo's going to have to come and help him out on that left-hand side. So there's going to have to be a bit of fluidity about us, and there normally is, but there's a bit more emphasis on it with how robust Atletico Madrid are going to be.
Yeah, I think it's another one of those. We looked at United and we said, we know Grealish was good, we know how good he was, especially with Bernardo going out there. Bernardo's going to have to do that again. But we focused on playing on the left for United. I think, like you said, going to have to be focused on the right. It's crucial because again, he's running that 2 left backs. He's running that Reinildo, who's a left side, who's usually a left back, who's playing the left side of a tree. Have to, I don't want to say exploit it, but we have to take advantage of the fact that maybe he's not as comfortable as as a Jimenez or a Felipe or Savic, whatever other side they play on. You want to try, if there is a weak link, you want to try and exploit, and that is, for me personally, looking at it from pure face value, the weakest link of the three. I think it's only fair purely because of how good and experienced the others are. But I think we'll leave it there. It's a long enough one. But thanks very much for watching. Let us know what you do. Line up, boys. Everything. Let us know how you're feeling about the match. We'll see you for the review. Thanks very much for watching.